Mother Church celebrated the Feast of Transfiguration. A great feast speaks of the future based on the past. That is the prophets and the revelation of Jesus to his disciples, and much more than that, that his future from earthly to the heavenly. And now this theology also helps us to grasp these heavenly things on this earth, to understand and to live. And for that you and me are called, and we are opted, and we are enjoying our call. Is it not? Yes, no doubt in that. Pope Leo the Great says about this today's feast, the life of Jesus, the beginning is not that easy for him, but he has a happy end. And that is being portrayed today on this feast day. And with that hope of enlightenment, let us start these lectures on Introduction to Theology. And here we have about 9 chapters. But before I explain about the chapters, I want to have a general introduction to the course. The course attempts to introduce theology to the students in order to deepen their personal commitment in church and initiate them into the method of theologizing suited to the socio-pastoral context of the church. It's a big sentence, but our experience is very simple. Namely, this course an attempt to deepen your personal commitment and church. And it's an initiation for you to learn the method of theologizing and suited to the socio-pastoral context of the church. And that is very important in the life of the church to have this context. Sociological, pastoral. In other words, where you are living, how you are going to work, and what way you need to work. Here, dear students, that you are encouraged to discern an area of interest for your personal socialization, specialization, by making use of the library. Unfortunately now, the big libraries or library in our institute may be closed. But we have a small reading libraries, reading rooms in our own institutions. Yes or no? Yes. So it is an opportunity to find the library within the house. And through that, you should get introduced yourself to the theological journals. In other words, is the contextual theology. Through that journals, you can deepen it. Now we are only the first year, why to go so deep in that? You may think of that. I know that. That's why I have simplified the course. Namely, that you have finished all of your philosophy. Yes or no? Yes, you have done, and all of you have done here in this magnanimous institution, Vijnan Nilayam. And you have also a bachelor's degree. And the course of philosophy is always reasoning. What is that? How? And so on. And theology also reason, but it should be accompanied by faith. In other words, philosophy speaks of reason, whereas theology speaks of reason and faith. To justify the world and make my faith reasonable to it, I must know what the world is, where I am living. What does it mean to be a Christian in this world where I am living? Relations between philosophy and theology. You should have a clear-cut idea of these both subjects. One is behind you, which you have finished. One is before you, which you have started just now through this course. Philosophy deals with the ultimate question, namely the ultimate meaning of human life. Science asks how. Philosophy, how this? Whereas theology asks why. So theology asks both. Philosophy deals with ultimate question, namely ultimate meaning of human life, and the science asks how. The subject science asks how, whereas the philosophy asks why, the reason. Now, theology asks how and why, but not in an experimental point of view. Philosophy asks the questions in the light of reason, whereas theology asks the same question in the light of reason illumined by faith. As I have before mentioned that theology speaks of reason and faith. So here theology asks the question in the light of reason illumined by faith. In other words, how and why both are connected in that. In the West, philosophy and theology always goes together in the Western world. For example, St. Augustine and Plato. Plato is the Greek philosopher, you know either. And St. Augustine has taken his ideas and converted into Christian theology. In other words, Christian philosophy. That is in the 4th and 5th centuries. After a break of again another around 800 years or 8 centuries, 6-7 centuries, Aquinas also has taken the philosophical background from Aristotle. He is also another Greek philosopher. And here Augustine and Plato, Aquinas and Aristotle, I put there how this philosophy has taken and explained. In other words, taken into the Christian theology. So Christian theology is based on reason and faith, as I have just mentioned before. Is it clear? Very good. Now, before Aquinas, Thomas Aquinas, philosophy and theology both were same or one. It was based on Greek philosophy. But Thomas comes and explains, and with all his intellectual knowledge, philosophical background, he explains this more clearly. Philosophy is the handmaid of theology. That is Ancilla Theologiae. So philosophy is the handmaid of theology. We will be dealing once again this terminology, the explanation again in the first chapter. Now here we have drawn the background for the philosopher theology. Now we go little more clear way to theology, namely theological classifications. The term theology is a combination of two words, theos and logos, that is the study of God. Theos and logos. Theology is combination of these two words, theos and logos, that is the study of God. We will be explaining this term itself in the first chapter a little more clearly. Now here, faith and reason I said, but what type of faith? Because you and me received faith from our heredity, grandparents, parents, or tradition in the church terminology. But is it that faith, can we say, this is my faith, this is enough? Can we hold on to that? We need to open to the reality, and keeping that faith, having that faith, we need to deepen our faith. That will be explained a little more clearly. Dear students, faith is the personal commitment to God. And you are all religious. You take the vows, the commitment. Thank God. You finished all? Yes? Yes? Yes. I know how great you are and how pleasant. Yes, I am confined to my life. Or, in other words, I become the at least a member of this society, so to say, this commitment. But here, faith is a personal commitment to God. Theology is a systematic articulation of that faith which you are committed to God. It is an expression, the experience of faith in God. So, dear brothers, mind these words. It is an expression of the experience of faith in God. Faith is a personal commitment, and theology makes this study on faith a systematic articulation or formulation of faith. But that faith you should experience, and only when you experience, you can express it. Yes or no? If I say something, today is a very beautiful sunny day, then you can't believe simply. You look at the window, really it is sun. No, it is gloomy day as yesterday. It's rainy day. It's an experience. My experience, based on my experience, I speak on that. But you want to have an experience before you get confirmed in that and confined to that idea. Yes or no? It is a must. Now, belief is there another word in this faith. It is a product of theology, and the process between faith and the belief is theologization. Now we are coming to the theology, namely, belief is the product of theology. How? And is the process between faith and belief is a theologization. Faith is personal and belief is common. But you are the same person. I am the one, and you are the one who experiences that faith and belief, having belief. So belief is mine, the other person and many others systematically put together and theologized brings forth faith. In other words, my belief becomes faith to me. My belief which I have, that it is a common, but when it is joined by faith and becomes my faith, in other words. So this is the general introduction for the entire course. Now we go to the introduction for this course, that is Catholic theology. Catholic theology as part of your religious and priestly formation. But already you finished nearly 8 years of formation. Yes or no? But you are only prepared to have that God experience. Now that God experience, you have to analyze scientifically. You have to study scientifically. Because as we know today, if you say people are not ready to believe anything, why should they have faith only in your God, not in other gods, not in others elsewhere? They can challenge, but you can explain to them when you experience. So it's a part of the religious and priestly formation. If I am not clear, if I am little fast, you can just ask, no problem. Okay? Now, here in this priestly and religious formation, in this course, we will try to deal with the nature and the functions of theology. In this course, which you are going to have now, or which you have started just now, we will be dealing these themes, namely nature and functions of theology, and sources of theology, from where it comes, and historical theology. Is it the source or historical? And development of theology. And nowadays we have a chance, or church encourages also local theologies, but it should be based on theology should be based on faith and a belief, reason. So, and a religious theology or a religious experience, and theology and other sciences. Is it theology is related anyway to other sciences or not? We will be asking this question and we will try to analyze that. And theological hermeneutics. This is another important subject in the modern theology. It's being spent so much time on the hermeneutical theology, they call it. And characteristics are features of Orthodox and Oriental theology. Orthodox theology and Oriental theology. So this is the introduction for our course.